Calaroga Shark Media. Welcome to Pager Protocol. Episode 1. The Seed of Deception.
In the heart of Zion City, nestled within an unremarkable office building, lay the nerve center of one of the world's most formidable intelligence agencies. On the 14th floor, behind a door marked Accounting, Nexus agent Eli Cohen sat motionless, his eyes fixed on a series of monitors displaying real-time data from across the globe. A soft chime broke the silence. Eli's hand moved swiftly, tapping a sequence on his keyboard. The monitors went dark, replaced by a single message: Director, now. Within moments, Eli was stepping into the office of Director Amos Ben-David, Nexus's director. The room was spartanly furnished, its only notable feature a large, featureless black mirror on the far wall. Ben-David stood with his back to the door, gazing out over the Zion City skyline, his posture rigid with the weight of his responsibilities. At 62, Amos Ben-David was a living legend within the intelligence community. His weathered face and steel-grey hair bore testament to decades of service, from his early days as a field operative to his current role at the pinnacle of Zion's intelligence apparatus. The scars on his hands, usually hidden by crisp suit sleeves, whispered of close calls in Damascus, Cairo, and a dozen other hotspots across the region. But it was Ben-David's eyes that truly told his story. Deep-set and penetrating, they carried the sharp intelligence of a master strategist and the haunted look of a man who had made impossible decisions in the name of national security. Cohen, Ben-David nodded, not turning from the window. What do you know about pagers? Eli's brow furrowed. Obsolete technology, sir, largely phased out in the early 2000s. Largely, Ben-David echoed, but not entirely. He pressed a button on his desk, and the black mirror sprang to life, revealing a map of the neighboring country crisscrossed with pulsing red lines. This is Crescent Shield's communication network, Ben-David explained, his voice carrying the gravitas of one who had spent a lifetime outmaneuvering Zion's enemies. Or rather, a shadow network they believed to be impenetrable, old tech, off the grid, invisible to modern surveillance. Eli leaned in, his mind racing. They're using pagers for high-level communications. Precisely, Ben-David confirmed, finally turning to face his agent. And we're going to use that against them. The door opened, and Dr. Rachel Levi entered, carrying a briefcase. Without a word, she placed it on the desk and opened it, revealing a row of ordinary-looking pagers. These, Dr. Levi said, her voice tight with barely contained excitement, are anything but ordinary. She lifted one, pressing a hidden switch. The pager's screen lit up, displaying a complex interface. Each unit is equipped with a state-of-the-art tracking system, undetectable by any known scanning technology. But that's not all. Dr. Levi pressed another sequence, and a holographic display appeared above the pager, showing its internal components. At its core was a tiny, pulsing red light. A bomb, Eli breathed. An advanced nano-explosive, Dr. Levi corrected. Powerful enough to kill anyone within a 3-meter radius, yet small enough to be indistinguishable from normal circuitry. Ben-David's eyes flashed with a mixture of approval and grim determination. He had greenlit the development of this technology years ago, foreseeing a time when such a weapon might be necessary. It was a decision that had cost him sleep, but not resolve. Operation Pager Protocol, he announced, his voice carrying the weight of command honed through years of critical missions. We're going to replace Crescent Shield's entire pager network with these devices. In one stroke, we'll have eyes and ears on their every move, and if necessary, the ability to eliminate key operatives with the push of a button. Eli's mind raced, considering the implications. The manufacturer, he said slowly. We'd need to infiltrate their supply chain. Ben-David nodded approvingly. Already in progress. We have an asset in place, Jade Chen. She's embedded with Li Wei of Silvertech Communications, the Hong Kong-based manufacturer supplying Crescent Shield. Your job is to rendezvous with her and oversee the switch. There's more, Dr. Levi interjected. She tapped the holographic display, zooming in on the nano-explosive. We've engineered these to emit a specific radiation signature, undetectable by normal means, but we could track them. Eli finished, the full scope of the plan dawning on him. Even if they find and disable the tracking systems, the explosives themselves will lead us right to them. Precisely, Ben-David confirmed, a hint of pride in his voice. This level of strategic depth was his hallmark, a product of lessons learned through triumphs and tragedies over a long career. He walked to a seemingly blank wall and pressed his palm against it. A hidden safe swung open, revealing a bottle of rare scotch and 2 glasses. It was a ritual Ben-David reserved for moments of grave importance, a tradition dating back to his early days in the field. As he poured, Ben-David spoke, his voice low and intense. Cohen, what I'm about to tell you doesn't leave this room. Operation Pager Protocol isn't just about Crescent Shield. It's about rewriting the rules of engagement in the entire region. Eli accepted the glass, recognizing the gravity of the moment. Ben-David continued, For decades, we've been playing a game of cat and mouse, always one step behind our enemies. This operation gives us the chance to be 10 steps ahead, to have our finger on the pulse and the trigger of every major player in the region. The weight of Ben-David's words hung in the air. Eli knew the director's history, how he had climbed the ranks of Nexus through a combination of brilliant strategy and unflinching dedication to Zion's security. There were whispers about operations in Iran, Syria, and even deep in European capitals, missions that had shaped the course of regional politics without ever making the headlines. Sir, Eli ventured, the ethical implications. Ben-David's eyes flashed. Ethics, he said, his voice sharp. I've watched good men and women die because we hesitated, because we played by rules our enemies ignore. This isn't about ethics, Cohen, it's about survival. He set down his glass and pulled up a series of images on the black mirror, photos of terrorist attacks, of grieving families, of bombed-out buses in Zion City. Every one of these could have been prevented if we had the intelligence we needed. Pager Protocol gives us that intelligence. Eli nodded, understanding the burden his director carried. Ben-David had lost friends and colleagues to the very enemies they now sought to outmaneuver. Each decision he made was colored by those losses, driven by a fierce determination to prevent future tragedies. The window of opportunity is narrow, Ben-David continued, his tactical mind never far from the operational details. Silvertech's next shipment to Crescent Shield leaves in 72 hours. You have until then to make the switch and get out clean. Eli nodded, his mind already formulating plans and contingencies. What about other agencies? CIA? MSS? Assume all eyes are on this, Ben-David warned, years of experience evident in his cautious approach. We've leaked whispers of a major Crescent Shield operation. Every intelligence agency worth its salt will be sniffing around. Use that chaos as cover, but trust no one except Jade. As if on cue, Eli's secure phone buzzed. A text message appeared. Package ready for pickup. Usual dead drop. Jade sent your travel package, Ben-David noted. You leave in an hour. A Gulfstream G650 will be waiting at a private airstrip. You'll be traveling as Alexei Vronsky, a Russian tech entrepreneur. Eli stood, committing every detail to memory. As he turned to leave, Ben-David called out, Cohen, the fate of Zion may rest on this operation. Whatever it takes, succeed. The words echoed in Eli's mind as he made his way to the airstrip. He knew Ben-David's reputation, knew the stories of impossible missions and hard choices. The director had spent a lifetime cultivating assets, eliminating threats, and navigating the treacherous waters of international espionage. Now, he was betting it all on Operation Pager Protocol. An hour later, Alexei Vronsky was settling into the luxurious interior of the Gulfstream, a glass of expensive vodka in hand, all part of his cover. As the jet soared over the Mediterranean, Eli's mind was already in Hong Kong, plotting his approach to Li Wei. Little did he know that halfway around the world, in a nondescript office in Langley, Virginia, CIA analyst Sarah Miller was staring at a computer screen, a puzzled frown on her face. Before her was a series of shipping manifests, all pointing to an unusually large pager shipment bound for a volatile region. "Who the hell still uses pagers?" she muttered, reaching for her phone. "Director Thompson needs to see this." As night fell over 3 continents, the pieces of a deadly chess game were sliding into place. In Zion City, Dr. Levi worked feverishly, fine-tuning her deadly creations. In Hong Kong, Jade Chen prepared for Eli's arrival, her cover as Li Wei's trusted assistant intact, for now. And in the hidden bunkers of enemy territory, Crescent Shield commanders eagerly awaited a shipment that promised unparalleled secrecy for their communications. Back in his office, Amos Ben-David stood once more at the window, his reflection ghostly in the glass. He thought of all the operations he had overseen, all the agents he had sent into harm's way. Pager protocol was different. It wasn't just an operation. It was his legacy, the culmination of a lifetime spent in the shadows. As the lights of Zion City twinkled below, Ben-David allowed himself a moment of doubt. Had he gone too far? Was the price of security too high? But as quickly as the doubts came, he pushed them aside. In this world, hesitation meant death, and Amos Ben-David had not survived this long by hesitating. None of them realized that with each passing moment, the fuse of Operation Pager Protocol burned shorter, racing towards a detonation that would shake the very foundations of the region. The game was afoot, and the first move belonged to Eli Cohen. But the master behind the board was Amos Ben-David, and he played for keeps.
Pager Protocol is a production of Calaroga Shark Media. Executive producers Mark Francis and John McDermott. Portions of this podcast may have been produced with the assistance of AI. This show is also available commercial-free. Check the show notes for all the links. Calaroga Shark Media.